Now, before we start doing a bunch of stuff with HTTP GET requests and POST requests, we need some HTML to render into our browser. So let's make some HTML. We're going to build three things here. We're going to build a landing page with a navbar, a main section, and a footer. So the first thing I want you to do is create those three things. Make 3 divs. And give them each a class. One with the class of navbar. One with the class of main. Actually, you can just make that a main. I don't even care. Just call it a main. A main is just like a div, but it's specifically meant for the main part of your page. I do say. And then a class for the footer. Make those 3 things. And we're going to build and style them in this video. Well, actually, we're just going to do the navbar first. I'm going to move through this pretty quick, but then I'm going to give you the code as we go along so that you can follow along with me. Is that cool with you guys? We're going to use 2 things to do most of the layout here. We're going to use CSS Flexbox, and we're going to use CSS Grid. If you remember Grid Garden and Flexbox Froggy from last year, those are good ways to practice building this stuff. And then we're going to do some challenges on Flexbox and Grid today so you get some practice using them because we're going to need them for the next couple lessons. Cool? Yes? Question? I will hold for you. Yes, I will pause this video so you can do it right now. In the navbar, I'm going to make a little space for ourselves. And we're going to put a few things in there. On one side, we're going to put a div for a logo. I'm going to give this a class equals logo. And on the other side, I'm going to put div with the class of links. These are 2 divs that go inside the navbar div. The reason why I'm doing this is so that we can make one navbar that goes all the way across. On the left side will be the logo. On the right side will be links for our app. You cool with that? Not really? It's okay. I'll give you a second. Take your time. This logo here, we're going to put a few things in. We're going to put a little image. We're going to put the name of the app. I'm actually going to get rid of this H1 at the top because we don't need it anymore. Because we're going to put it for the logo. And then we're going to put 3 links over here. So I'm just going to put that boilerplate stuff in right now. I won't put any link for the image in there because I'll let you choose your own. And I'll put the links. We're going to use an unordered list, a UL. And we're going to put some list items. 3 of them. 3 links. So all I've done right now is I've put some of the HTML that we're going to use for this navbar. And honestly, this is going to look bad when we first do it. I'm just going to put the 3 links and I'm going to say like home, I don't know, like, let's go with profile maybe. And then like, or maybe like sign in, sign out. I'll just leave it there for now. Or and about. We're going to make these links in a minute, but right now they're nothing. So don't worry too much. Now this is just normal HTML that we've seen before. And if I were to save this and show you what it looks like really quickly, it's going to look pretty bad. That doesn't look like a navbar at all. So we're going to need to fix that. Probably add the image and all the other mumbo jumbo. But I'll pause this here and let you copy this down. Because this doesn't look nice right now, I'm going to add some styles to it to make it look a little better. I'm actually going to change this H3 to an H2 because I think, let's just make it a little bit bigger. How's that look? Still not good, but we're going to fix it. So the 2 things I want to do here is I want to make this go all the way across the top. which I'm going to do by styling the Navbar part of our page. To style the Navbar, I'm going to head to the style.css. I'm going to say .navbar because it's a class of Navbar. And I'm going to give it a bunch of styles. Are you ready? The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a width of 100 VW, which stands for view width. So it's going to be exactly 100% of however wide the viewing screen we're looking at is. So however wide we make it, the nav bar is going to be exactly 100% of that. That's what 100 VW stands for, 100 view width. I'm going to give it a height of like 75 pixels. And I'm going to make its background RGB 40, 50, 60. And I'm going to make the color white. Now 40, 50, 60 for RGB is going to be like a dark RGB. So blue is going to be the most blue, but not that much more blue than it is green, and not that much more green than it is red. So it'll be like a slightly blue-green dark color. And then the color is going to be white. It's going to be 75 pixels tall and extend all the way across the screen. I'm also going to make it display flex. Now what this will do is, and I'm actually just going to preview this and put it down here so we can look at it. I'm actually going to, we don't need this anymore. I'm going to preview this, preview index.html really quickly. Now we still have one problem here with our style, and that's that the body has all this margin automatically on it. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to say margin 0. And now it should give us something that looks like this, if you do that correctly. Everybody have that? Fantastic. If you don't, no sweat. What's that? I'm going to do two more things. I'm going to make the unordered list inside the navbar, the one with the class of links and the class of logo. These are both divs that hold all this other good info. The first thing I'm going to do is, because this is displaying flex, I'm going to tell it to justify content space between, which will move them to either sides of the navbar. The space between attribute, what that essentially does in the justify content attribute property, is it moves them as far away from each other as it possibly can. It maximizes the space between them, which means that one will be on the far left, the other will be on the far right. Doing that makes this a lot easier, because then I can do two things. The first is that I can say the unordered list inside the navbar should also display flex, which will put them all in a row like this. And I'm also going to tell it to have a list style type of none, which will get rid of those dots. And you can see that right there. Afterwards, I'm going to make sure that all of the list items inside the list have a few properties as well. If I'm going too fast, I understand I will stop and slow down, and you will be able to copy everything in a second. Is that cool? There's everything we've written so far, just so you know. Now we can do a few things here. You see how they're all right next to each other like this? Yes. We can change that up by justifying content space around. So giving them a little extra space so that when they're spread out, they have a little more space. The problem right now is that this one, the links div, only extends as far as the stuff inside it. So I would have to give it some padding or some width for that to work. So instead of doing that, we're just going to give these list items a little bit of margin. I'm just going to give each one a margin right of 10 pixels. And that'll spread them out a little bit. Cool. And I'm going to align items in the center. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, I didn't do that here. Sorry. Display, flex, align item center. Nope, that's not it either. Try to move them to the bottom. Oh, height 75 pixels. I'll figure it out in a second. Oh yeah, there we go. Margin 0. There you go. That's what you need. Do I even need this? I don't think I need this, do I? Let's find out. Oh, I do need that. Okay, keep that there. Cool. Could I put it in there? Was I right? Sometimes I don't know. I have to play around with this a little bit. Yeah, I was right. I could have just done that. Okay, it's fine. Great. So there's all the code. It just looks like this right now. It doesn't look super nice. We're going to fix it. But it looks a lot better than before. So if I refresh this. Ooh, that's not right. Oh, save. My bad. Save. Refresh. Looks a lot better than before. Cool. This is getting closer to what I want. This is my Navbar. Essentially, all of the content, like the links, what my page is about, is all going to go at the top. Now, all of this HTML and CSS, when I click refresh on our page right here and I go to the network tab, you will see it appear. And you can do that. If I click refresh right here and click on all, you see 3 files loaded. What are those 3 files? Index.html, style.css, script.js. So actually, even though we're writing all of our Cloud9, all of our HTML and CSS inside Cloud9 in the same browser, when I click refresh, it has to go make an HTTP request and go get all of those files, all 3 files, from the Cloud9 server that sends all 3 files that we created right here, index.html, style.css, script.js. It sends them from Amazon servers, Cloud9 servers, over to our browser, and our browser figures out how to render them. All of this stuff right here happens even if we're writing the code inside Cloud9 in the same browser. This is issuing an HTTP request, and it's what we're going to talk about for the next couple videos. You cool with this? Now, I'm going to send all of this code to you right now so that you have all the styles so you can be caught up if you want. I'm going to put it all in Slack. But if you have any errors in here, or if it's messed up, it's not working for you, let me know because we'll fix it. I think we can actually align items here, by the way. Align items in the center. No, I don't like that. We'll fix that later. Cool?